Along with the Bark and Spiders Christmas, we started making movies more and more because, you know, they would just be funny as hell. And Frank and I had this idea that we would make a horror movie.
At the time, we were taking Mr. Rice's media class, and we were learning all about Alfred Hitchcock. So that was kind of what got us on the idea to do a horror movie. We all watched horror movies, you know, B movies, the slasher movies, you know, Reanimator,
Nightmare on Elm Street,
Driller Killer,
The Mutilator, and
The Basket Case,
Unholy or something, and
I Spit on Your Grave, stuff like that. So we came up with this very loose script.
We actually started to write a script that would have been Steve Zielinski as the evil one, Kevin as Noxious, and Dave Solarelli was going to be Dave the evil troll. And I got this blue fur that Dave was going to wear when he transformed into the troll. And for some reason, he was never at the shooting, so the evil troll doesn't appear in the movie, much to my dismay.
I don't know if it was that no one was really willing to spend like every weekend, you know, making movies, or like be stuck after school, like filming things and stuff like that. But only me and Kevin were really interested in acting in it for that long. And Frank never really seemed to have too much interest. He liked the behind-the-scenes stuff. And so did Joe, kind of. For the most part, it was like me, Kevin, Frank, and Joe that like were always involved in every movie, because we were the only people that really were motivated to actually create a half-hour piece of art.
We were really like geared up for this. It was going to be a horror movie, but it was going to be funny, and we took a lot of time out for this. And everywhere we went, we filmed something. We did scenes up at the high school. We did scenes in people's houses and backyards. And it really, I mean, it's an amateurish kind of movie, but it was the beginning of a lot of things to come. A lot of the visual projects that we embarked on.
And we put together this little half-an-hour movie, and we did the editing, and I mean, Frank directed some parts, and I directed some parts, and I did the camera on some parts, and Frank did camera.
We knew nothing about filmmaking, you know, just like we knew nothing about playing music. You know, at first you just pick up the instrument, you know, picked up a camera, and we started just filming. You know, we had no editing equipment. It was just like shot in sequence in the camera. So, you know, if you screw up, that's it, it's a screw up. So, you know, you just keep filming.
We did all the credits in art class when we were supposed to be doing our projects. We would draw the titles for the movie, and we'd come up with, well, maybe we should kill this guy that way, and maybe we should chop that guy up this way.
Once we started murdering the people, the storyline really dropped off. You know, it started out with a high concept where we had like we had lit a fire in my room, like in a cauldron, and we had a Ouija board. I think we flipped the light switch on and off to make it, you know, because that's what happens when the devil comes into your room.
You and Noxious will go and bring souls to me.
Satan's voice actually was Joe Cola, which was brilliantly done in that movie. So the whole movie is us killing a bunch of people, and most of the actors in it, if I can call them actors, were friends of ours from high school that decided they wanted to be a part of the movie. So we basically killed off half of our graduating class.
I got killed in it. I got my stomach sewed open and my intestines pulled out of my body. I walked from the backyard to the front of the garage to say hello to Steve and Kev.
Kill him.
I shook their hand. They opened the garage, took a saw. I had a board with like a blood sack, you know, under my shirt, and they sawed me open, and then they pulled sausage, which was out of my stomach, which was supposed to be my intestines, and threw it, and I fell, and I started screaming, but I sounded like a baby crying.
My scene in Nude and Dismembered was pretty good. I should have won an Academy Award for that one. I took a nice fall. The funny thing about it is I had this blood pack in my stomach, so you could hear it jiggling as I was walking down the stairs. And then Steve Zielinski's waiting there, and he's possessed or whatever the hell he is, and he knocks me on my ass and then stabs me with whatever those things are called. And you know, the blood goes everywhere, and that's about it for me.
The death scene, that was all one take, actually. And not a lot of people know that. So that was all one shot, all improvised. And the way that I had died in that scene, you know, I was beaten to death.
Wrong number!
I Understand was then overdubbed. And I wasn't involved in that. I had nothing to do with that.
I think my favorite murder scene in the whole movie was Frank's. We'd set up a bed, and Frank had cut out a hole, so the only thing that really was real was his head from his neck up. And he put a board by his chest, and what made up the fake body was garbage bags filled with red substances. And I proceeded to hit him numerous times in the chest with the axe.
And he swung with all his might too. First swing hit the board and split the board in half.
The piece of wood had cracked on the first hit, and I had hit Frank like 2 or 3 more times with the axe. So the axe was like hitting him in the chest.
And like he barely hit the blood bag, and like you see the bag like roll over and just like unnaturally break open.
And I don't know how Frank's mom didn't kill us for spilling like 14 gallons of fruit punch on the carpet.
You know, still to this day I have to fast forward through that part. Can't watch it.
Good night, Franklin. Pleasant dreams.
There was also some good music in there. We actually had a little band called the Evil Wombats that played a song in the movie. We decided, hey, we need a scene where we can have, you know, us playing our instruments. How are we going to work this in? Well, we had an evil band, you know. So we wrote a song called, you know what? I can't remember the name of the song.
I think the name of the song was actually entitled Satan's Bagel Nosh, and we played it because the bagel noshes were popular back then. And that was really the only appearance of the Evil Wombats.
What is this? This is shit that's on this.
And we started adding some comic relief in as well, and Kevin Purcell was dressed entirely in a snowsuit. And I think I actually dusted off my Barking Spiders Christmas outfit for that particular scene. Had a beach ball, some funny shoes that Kevin was wearing.
One of the greatest things Steve was ever involved in was a thing called Hollandaise Sauce, which was just this stupid song that we did for Nude and Dismembered.
Joe kept on saying this Hollandaise Sauce song is great, and Frank thought it was great also, so we decided to use it in the movie. We have a scene where me and Kevin are in the bomb shelter under the school. We're sitting on 2 stools, and I'm wearing a shower cap, because at the time I used to collect shower caps from all over the world. And Kevin was playing the guitar, but it was on tape because Joe had recorded the guitar part, and I was singing it. And as it pans back, you realize that also inside this bomb shelter was a girl named Elaine Gambale inside of a cage. And we killed her in what I think might be one of the weakest murder scenes in the movie, because we had gotten this little razor blade with like some kind of like little pump on it, and like you were supposed to squeeze the pump when you cut the razor blade, and it just didn't look good. You couldn't even tell that we had a razor blade in the hand. But we had sang the song, and it was a hit, and I think that's what actually made the Nude and Dismembered soundtrack gold, was that song. I still haven't seen a penny though. I think we did give credit to the music that we used, and I believe that Budweiser was thanked, and Mr. Rice again, who was kind of like very supportive of us doing anything kind of creative. And when we finished the movie, he asked to show it in his class, and not just like in our class, but he showed it in every class that day to all these kids. So like people that we didn't really know were watching the movie. So we thought that was kind of cool.
Nude and Dismembered, which I recently watched for some reason back in December, I guess it was, at home. I found it on my video shelf. It was hilarious, and I could see that there was, how can I put it, imitation of Hitchcock techniques. The air of mystery was well presented in the film. You could see them trying to be sophisticated, and it worked. It was also, watching it this time, a joy for me, realizing how young they were and how much they knew.
It was just, you know, a bunch of teenage retards with nothing to do making something to do, and the movie, again, to this day, I can't watch it without tears in my eyes laughing at how funny some of it is. It's probably one of the more brilliant things I've ever been involved in.